Hey guys, Eva Thompson here. Welcome back to my channel. In this video, I'm going to be answering your questions in regards to retroactive jealousy. I asked you guys to send me some questions on Instagram, and those are the questions that I'm going to be answering today. Before we get into it though, I wanted to give you a bit of a background story on my experience with RJ. So I was suffering from it for about 8 years, so I definitely know what it feels like to have it. And what happened is, while I was studying to become a therapist, I wanted to specialize in helping young women with depression and anxiety. But what happened is, while I was studying to become a therapist and I was doing work on myself and I was practicing on colleagues and colleagues were practicing on me, I found that my RJ was gone. Literally within a few months, I didn't have it anymore. And when that happened, I realized that I want to start helping people with it, overcome it with rapid transformational therapy, which is what I studied. So that is kind of my story with it. I did suffer from it in all of my relationships, but the relationship that it stood out in the most was the one that I'm in now, because I think they say that in really healthy ones, in relationships where everything's fine and you have no issues, that's where it's the most prominent, and that's where it's clear that you need to work on it, you need to overcome it if you want to continue being with your partner, because it definitely can take a toll on both of you. So with that being said, let's get into the questions. So the first question is, can working on self-esteem heal RJ, or is it only through ERP? Now the thing is, I'm not very familiar with ERP. I didn't heal through ERP. My clients didn't heal through ERP. So I can't really speak on behalf of ERP. I mean, I'm sure it works. I don't really know much about it. But working on self-esteem at the end of the day is what it all boils down to, even if it's difficult for you to see it in the moment. The irony is with RJ is that a lot of people feel very confident. So when you say to them that, it's a self-esteem problem, they don't believe you, or they don't see why that might be. And I can understand that, because I was also, obviously I was there too, so I know what it feels like. But ask yourself, if a human being that is 100% secure in themselves and comfortable with who they are, and think that they are good enough, think that they are funny enough, that they are fun enough, that they are interesting enough, would that person feel threatened or be bothered by their partner's past? No, they wouldn't. So whether it comes down to feeling good enough, wanting to be in control, not wanting to be compared, at the end of the day, it more often than not does boil down to not feeling good enough in one way or another. So yes, it does have to do with self-esteem. So the next question is, any tips for getting past RJ when you were friends for years before you started dating your partner? So if you were friends before you started seeing them and they told you a lot about their relationships at the time when you guys were just friends, what I would say to you is try and put yourself in their shoes. So try and actually imagine yourself when you were friends with your current partner. Were you in relationships, or were you seeing people that you liked at the time or you loved at the time? And did you talk to your current partner, which was your friend, about it? And when you think about it this way, you can see, you can kind of wrap your head around how, just like you don't really care for your past relationships with people because you're in a relationship now with your current partner, it's the same for them. So just like you did it, just like you don't care anymore and you just want to be with your partner, it's the same for your partner. So putting yourself in their shoes can often really help. The third question is, does it really go away? And the answer is yes, it does really go away. I know it's difficult for you to see it now. It's difficult when you're in the moment, when you're suffering, to see that it gets better, but it does get better. You can overcome it. Don't let anyone tell you that you can't. Can feelings of suspicion be a part of this? So I've only had one client where they had a feeling of suspicion and it came true. And there's two ways that you can differentiate between suspicion and RJ. The first thing is knowing what intuition is and what fear is. So intuition is, first of all, very much subtle. Intuition doesn't cause intense physical reactions in your body. So the anxiety, the palpitations, the sweaty palms, not being able to breathe properly, not being able to eat, all these intense physical reactions in your body aren't caused by intuition. They're caused by RJ, by OCD, by anxiety. And also, intuition is very much in the present moment. So if you find yourself obsessing about the past or the future and feeling anxious in the now because of future or past, that's not intuition either. Intuition is very much in the present moment, and it's very subtle. And if your thoughts are beginning with what if they felt this, what if they still love them, what if they're whatever, that is also not intuition. Intuition is very present in the present moment. And the thing is, at the end of the day, another question that I would urge you to ask yourself is the person that you're with today worth taking the risk of being vulnerable, being open, being yourself, trusting them in your relationship? Because you can't be in a relationship, in a happy relationship, if you're not willing to take a risk, if you're not willing to be vulnerable, to be open, to trust them. So if the person that you're with today is worth for you taking the risk, being open, being vulnerable, and being yourself, if they're worth that, then I would say go for it. If they're not worth it and you don't feel safe with them for other reasons, then, like I said, healing from RJ, in my experience, is not going to be very easy, because you need to feel safe and secure in your relationship in order for you to overcome it. So the last question is, why have my thoughts worsened so much during the pandemic? So the thing is, intrusive thoughts are a lot more intense, or have the ability to stick a lot more and bother us when we are not feeling calm and at ease. So you might have found that when you are stressed about work, or about maybe if you've got kids, when you have not slept well, when you have maybe had a glass or two too many to drink, and you feel a bit vulnerable, or you feel a bit out of control, then, or not in touch with yourself, then the thoughts get worse. So during a pandemic, obviously we're left alone with our thoughts a lot more, because there's not a lot of stimulation out there, like going out and seeing people and interacting. So that's one part of it. But secondly, it's also the uncertainty, the not being in control of the situation, and also being anxious, being stressed. So when you're anxious and stressed, the thoughts get stronger, because you're in that vulnerable state and you're not at peace with yourself. So that's why they worsen during the pandemic. And the thing is, with uncertainty, it's very scary to let go of control and to embrace the uncertain. But once you do, there is no choice but to stay in the present moment. There is no choice but to be present, to be here, to be now, and to focus on what you've got, because nothing's guaranteed for anyone. Nothing's guaranteed for me or for you. Nothing's guaranteed in our relationships. But what you can do, and what the pandemic is teaching us to do, if you choose to see it from a more positive light, like the silver lining, is just that, to let go of control, to just live in the present, live in the now, because it's literally all you've got. So guys, those were all the questions about retroactive jealousy. If you've got any other questions, any further questions, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And like this video if you found it helpful. Subscribe to my channel as well if you're new, and I will see you guys next time.